Tellus Detroit has the opportunity and honor to sit with Congressman John Lewis as part of his visit to Detroit for the Freedom Fund dinner. Thank you for taking out some time to talk with us. I know you've had a busy schedule, in part because the 50th anniversary of the Freedom Fund demonstrations is coming up next week. When you look back over those 50 years, what comes to mind?
When I look back 50 years ago, when we left Washington, D.C. on May 4th, 1961, we saw segregation, racial discrimination. We saw those signs that said white men, white women, white waiting, colored waiting. But those of us that went on a freedom ride, that were beaten, arrested, and jailed, more than 400 of us ended up in the state penitentiary in Mississippi. We brought down those signs, and they are gone, and they will not return.
They will not return, and in the 21st century, where does the civil rights movement focus?
We must focus on the question of full employment, education for all of our children, and build what I like to call not just a civil rights movement, but a human rights movement. Bring out others that have been left out and left behind. The Latino population, the American, Native American, and also Asian American, low-income whites, we're all in the same boat. We must go back to where Dr. King and Robert Kennedy left off 43 years ago.
I understand that you recently announced that you're going to be running for the 13th time as a congressman from the 5th District in Atlanta, Georgia. What business is left to accomplish? You have quite a record.
Well, there's still work to be done. As I said in Atlanta a few days ago, I don't feel any weight tied. There's still mountains to climb, battles to fight, and victory to be won.
Your message to people who believe the change has been a long time coming. That was the night that President Obama was inaugurated. What changes would be on your wish list if you had one?
Well, we got to end the violence. We must end the violence in our cities, in our towns, in our rural community, and end the violence not only here in America but around the world. There's too much violence. We must continue to preach and teach the way of love, the way of peace, the way of nonviolence. Because in the final analysis, we are one people, we're one family, we're one house, we all live in the same house.
And finally, if people want to learn more about you, I know you've written a memoir, Walk with the Wind. What kind of things will they learn about John Lewis that they couldn't learn anyplace else?
Well, by reading the book, you can learn that I didn't grow up in a big city like Detroit. I grew up on a farm in rural Alabama. My father had been a sharecropper, a tenant farmer. But in 1944, when I was 4 years old, he had saved $300, and with the $300, he bought 110 acres of land. My family still own that land today. I worked hard on that farm. I used to help raise the chickens. As a little boy, I wanted to be a minister. I used to gather the chickens together and preach to the chickens. And some of these chickens would bow their heads, some of these chickens would shake their heads. They never quite said amen. But even some of those chickens, when I look back, tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listen to me today in the Congress. And some of those chickens were just a little more productive.
Well, there we have it. Thank you so much, Congressman, for spending some time with us today, and good luck with your reelection.
But thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with you.